When we lose something, there are times when we simply can't help but look for it again where it used to be, even though we know full well that we lost it somewhere else. We know it's pointless, but we just look because we remember it being there, and sometimes because we hope for a miracle. Just as we'd idly look for an item where we used to put it, even though we know it's lost and know it's not there. Sometimes we look back on our past, even though we know those days are never coming back. How many of you did that today? When you noticed that the air is noticeably chillier in the morning? When you saw the tree leaves slowly dancing down to the ground? When you noticed yourself no longer reaching for the sleeveless shirt you wore just a few days ago? When you told yourself that you're going to have to turn that page on the calendar tomorrow? Did you look for the summer that's no longer where it used to be? It's the last day of August, everybody. I'm Lena Park, and this is One Fine Day. Welcome to One Fine Day with Lena Park. That was Igi-chan singing his song 있나요? Are you there? Already time for those sentimental ballads, right? Because yes, it is the last day of August 31st today, and come tomorrow, it will be September, and it is the beginning of a new season, a new semester for many of us as well. The past few days, it was sort of kind of a gray area. I still felt the need to turn the AC on sometimes. And then I felt like, but wait a minute, it doesn't really feel like summer though. It was hard to kind of decide which season we were in. Definitely it was that transitional gray area, but looks like we don't really have to debate it any longer. It is raining cats and dogs right now out here in Seoul anyway. There is something about today's rain though that's definitely not like a summer sonagi or a summer storm or shower or monsoon. No, there's something that is very not summery about it. It is undeniably autumn. Well, that is what's going on here. We are actually just in the face of a new season here. Definitely starting to actually even see some leaves start to yellow. Autumn is going to go quickly, I have a feeling. But I'm wondering which season you guys are experiencing in your parts of the world. And of course, leading to my next question, where might you be? Our global roll call is coming up in just a moment. So tell me where you are and what you're doing as you're listening to today's show. And if you have any songs you'd like to hear on the show today, go ahead and request away. And also feel free to share your 사연들, stories and anecdotes about anything and everything. Nothing's too trivial. Anything goes. Message me on Kong, right on the various message boards on our website at world.kbs.co.kr. or leave a comment on our latest posts on Instagram at KBS One Fine Day and Facebook at facebook.com/EnglishKBS. If you have a Korean phone number, you can text me at sharp 8150. It's 51 per SMS and 101 per MMS. In part 2 of the show, we'll be joined by Professor Cynthia Yu for our Tuesday segment, OFD and Chill. So stick around to find out which movie or drama she'll tell us about today. I'll be back now with today's Where Are You after this song break. Here is New East W with 있다면 or If You.
있다면 말할 수 있다면 머리카락처럼 자라버린 그리움을
One Fine Day is coming to you live from Seoul, Korea. It's currently 5:22 p.m. and raining so much. You guys, be careful if you're in Seoul or any parts of the country that is raining or any part of the world where it's raining. Always so dangerous. We were really running late today because just the sheer number of congestion on traffic congestion, but also accidents. So many accidents. I don't know what it is about the rain. Maybe visibility is bad. Or people just, they want to go quickly, but when they shouldn't, and it's slippery. I mean, you could see ripples of water on the streets. So I hope everyone's careful. Right now, I'm talking to you, safely got here to the studio, located on the 4th floor of the main KBS building in Yeouido, Seoul. Where are you? It's time for our global roll call so I can find out where in the world all my listeners are and what you are all up to today. Where are you? Sweet 030323 writes, 안녕하세요. 규미리나 언니. It's raining quite liberally today. After work, I have to take my puppy to the vet. I think its nail got caught on a thread when they were jumping off the sofa. Ouch! The nail is barely hanging on, and there was some blood and swelling too. I felt so bad. I wrapped it up with some gauze at home as a temporary fix. And I guess my puppy thought that was enough because he kept bringing me the ball with a limp. It was kind of sad but funny at the same time. Whether it is humans or animals, I wish no one will get hurt. I figured I should take better care of my health for my dogs too, so I just started taking some supplements yesterday. I hope everyone, including Unni and the OFD family, will take good care of your health. Don't get hurt and be careful in the rain. Oh, poor puppy. But it's a very good sign that the puppy is, not getting despondent and still wants to play. I guess it can't hurt that much, so thank goodness, and hopefully you can get that fixed. Ouch! All right, yes, everybody please be careful in the rain. Yes, supplements, you gotta start on those early. Isol92 writes, 정연 언니, 오늘도 안녕하세요. Today I shared some udong, 잡채밥, and 탕수육 with my family for lunch. What did you have for lunch? Always eat well and stay healthy. This is a very kind of an international mix of stuff there. I think that we tend to eat a big, very weird mix of stuff these days because of our delivery apps. We just order this and that. Sounds like you guys had a feast. JSLey2017 writes, 안녕하세요, 정연 누나. Yesterday, I didn't feel any symptoms aside from some muscle ache on my arm after the second shot of vaccine. So this morning, I went to Bucheon for some bicycle tuning. But it started to rain so much, and on my way home, I started feeling a bit of a body ache. I did get home well, but from now on, I think I'll just listen to the radio and rest without moving an inch. Yes, I'm glad that you're able to get out of the rain because the stress of that might have, triggered something. Definitely feel free to be lazy with license. Yes. Some TLC, some R&R. Get that rest that you need and hope you feel good and don't get bad effects. Mogiri Machuki writes, a very good afternoon to you in Seoul. It's morning here in Kisii, Kenya. All right, well, I hope you're having a great morning and that you are off to a good start of a fabulous day. Pei C writes, greetings from Chuncheon. I will be attending 1-year Korean language program here. It has been 3 weeks since I've come to Korea. Last Monday, I just finished the quarantine. I'm busy getting familiar with the new surroundings and buying essential stuff to live at dormitory. It's cloudy and rainy here. I'm resting at my room now while browsing Korean textbook. Welcome to Korea! Wow, that's so exciting that you made it all the way here. A 1-year language program, and you are in Chuncheon. Lots of yummy stuff to eat down there. Well, I hope that you have a great start to your semester. Frost Crafty Yogurt writes, I just went to a tennis shop to try some rackets. It's so exciting to try something new. I'm planning to go back again soon. Ooh, that sounds fun. Yes, people are trying tennis, and our writer was talking about starting golf. Really makes me feel like I should start something too. So thanks for that message. Looking at song requests. All right, our first request is from Glory JSA, who says, it's been raining so much since the afternoon and the rain makes me blue and lethargic. I'd like to request Epic High's 비 오는 날 듣기 좋은 노래. All right, which is great, right? A great song to listen to when it's raining. Jisoo Kim 0801 says, Muslina, would this be the first picture of an animal series? Oh, well, no, we weren't planning anything like that, but I will think about it. While listening to yesterday's segment, when you talked about Yoon Jong-shin, I'm kind of reminded of the songs 막걸리나, written by himself. Now, this could sound a bit silly, but I highly doubt the title is motivated by your name, because it is sort of a wordplay of a girl's name, and 막걸리. I really do love the song. It's the kind of song that only Yoon Jong-shin could write, in my opinion. I first listened to this song through the Busker Busker version and actually performed this version myself as a drummer when I belonged to a band club back in the uni days. But when I listened to the original version, I got to like it more than that version. And gosh, I feel like having a cup of makgeolli now, even if it's it's even raining outside. So I'd like to request the original version by Yoon Jong-shin today. Well, that's also a very appropriate thing because when it rains, lots of Koreans like to enjoy some makgeolli with, some traditional Korean, goodies on the side like pancakes and stuff. So, yeah, I don't think you're the only one who might be reaching for that makgeolli. Just, moderation, right? All right, let's listen to those two requests. First up, Epic High with 비 오는 날 듣기 좋은 노래 Rain Song featuring Cold. And then it's Yoon Jong-shin with his song 막걸리나 or Ivory Magic.
비가 오고 네가 생각나.
That was Yoon Jong-shin. It was his song 막걸리나, but I keep feeling like he's calling me. Yes? 오빠, yes? What? 뭔데요? It was 막걸리나, Ivory Magic. Before that, we heard Epic High with 비 오는 날 듣기 좋은 노래, a Rain Song featuring Cold. Loyreal11, commenting on our picture today, says, 귀요미. And HS Kwak says, I think that someone could actually or should actually read your palms. Really? From my picture, you can read the palms? Isn't it like mirrored? I don't know. Well, somebody let me know. Let me know. Yoonmi Jung says, I've got good news today. My nephew finally left the hospital to go home just now. Very good news. Congratulations. He was born in early April, weighing 430 grams. That's not even 1 pound, folks. It's under 1 pound. And he had to go through multiple surgeries, but now he's well over 3 kilos and stable. He's only seen people with masks ever since he was born, but finally he'll get to see the faces of his mom and dad for the first time, and I hope he won't get scared. It will still be a while before I can see him in person myself, but I will be video calling him every day. I wish he will be always healthy from now on, and thank you for worrying about him with me. Yes, we were all worried and pulling for him, and it's so weird that you mentioned this today. Just this morning when I was scrolling through Instagram, I actually saw a post, and it was a mother who posted a picture of her child when he was born. I guess he was also he only weighed about 1 pound. He was also a preemie. That's what we call premature birth. And she posted a current picture of him, very dapper and handsome 3-year-old and super healthy. And then there were lots of comments afterwards about other parents sharing their news about their preemies, right? They're babies who had to go through a lot of challenges just to even come home from the hospital, being born too prematurely, but thriving and healthy and completely normal weight and am totally doing great. And it was a really, really feel-good post. And I'm so glad that your sister can add her own happy news to that string of comments. Yay! Listener, I'm Kelly writes, it feels like the heavy rain tells me summer is finally over. Although August has been a pretty tough month for me, both mentally and physically, it's a shame to say goodbye to August. Waiting for a new to roll around when seasons change usually gives me a feeling of a fresh start, but changes don't necessarily affect me the same way. Seeing today's post lifts my spirits. All right, well, you just got to take it one day at a time. I'm also sad to say goodbye to August because I always love how August is nice and long so that we can feel like we're dragging summer out as long as we possibly can, and yet here we are. We have inevitably come to the end, but it's time to look forward and look forward with positivity. All right, I'll be back with more messages after this weather-appropriate song break. Here is Jung Seung-hwan with 비가 온다. It's raining. You're listening to One Fine Day with Lena Park on KBS World Radio. Listener Lim Twaya says, Tweha, how adorable you are. 꽉 깨물어버리고픈. My wife and I made our new portfolio for an international fashion contest until this morning due to the deadline being tonight. We couldn't sleep well for almost a month and argued many times for this work, but we are very proud of ourselves no matter what the result. We decided to prepare this for the special benefit from the first time. This was a great opportunity to look back on our creations, a good way to find out what we need to do from now on. Your songs and performances on YouTube gave me lots of inspiration and the importance of the flow of story and the importance of true expression as well. Very tired today, but your sweet voice keeps myself strong. All right. Flow of story and flow of natural expression from music helping to inform fashion and fashion design. That's pretty amazing for me, how one art can inspire another art or inform each other. It's like when an artist writes about a painting or is inspired by a story, a book, a novel. Very cool stuff. Thanks for sharing. And I hope you get some rest, both you and your wife. Alicia Y writes, my face has always been noticeably darker than my neck, so people at makeup counters keep telling me to go for lighter shade of foundation. And that leaves my face embarrassingly white until it oxidizes and leaves my face darker than my neck once again. But lately, I've started to realize that half of my foundations and BB creams are too dark for my face. 21호 21호 BB creams, they don't seem as white as I used to find them, and even the lightest of my foundation samples don't appear too white. With the lockdown, I don't use makeup often these days, so I don't know when this happened, but maybe I'm lacking sunlight. And my neck, well, that is still a few shades lighter than my face. Oh, well, I think, first of all, to keep your face from getting too much darker than your neck, I think sunscreen is definitely the most important thing. Sunscreen is really, I've said it over and over again, just absolutely the one most important thing that you can use for beauty, period. Right? And yes, we have all gotten all pasty and pale, me, myself included, because of the lockdowns and the pandemic disallowing us from being too out and about or traveling. So don't worry too much about it. It's just your face reflecting, the state of things, and it'll change when your life changes and when we're post-lockdown again. Thanks for sharing. All right. I'll be back with today's Parallel Universe after another song break. Here is 이소라 with 신청곡, Song Request, featuring Suga of BTS. They're different, but not entirely. Two different songs from two different parts of the world. It's like they belong to a parallel universe. It's time to listen to a couple of songs that are seemingly nothing alike, but actually somewhat similar in one way or another upon closer inspection. One K-pop track and one non-K-pop track. It's Parallel Universe. Today we'll listen to two songs that share the title Fantasy. First, we'll listen to the K-pop song Fantasy by Maktub. Now, singer-songwriter-producer Maktub made his debut all the way back in 2011. But he became better known in 2017 when his 2014 song Marry Me became sort of a 역주행 sleeper hit thanks to social media. And then, by the time his song 오늘도 빛나는 너에게 topped streaming charts in 2019, he was widely known by then for his analog but trendy lyrics and melodies. Now, this song, his song Fantasy, featuring singer-songwriter Lee Raon, was a part of his album of the same title released in 2014. It also included his famous song Marry Me there. And as for Fantasy, here's a bit of the song's lyrics. You just disappear from within my arms. In your absence, only greed remains. By your side, just by your side, the person who can hold your hand. Can that no longer be me instead of him? You are my fantasy crystal rain. You come mysteriously and disappear like a mirage. Ew. It sounds like this is kind of a fantasizing of a relationship that is not there. Just escaping reality sometimes. As for our non-K-pop side, we're going to listen to Fantasy by 90s American pop diva Mariah Carey. With 19 Billboard Hot 100 chart toppers, she holds the record for the most number one singles by a solo artist, or by a female songwriter, or by a female producer. She's won 5 Grammys, 19 World Music Awards, 10 American Music Awards, and 15 Billboard Music Awards, just to name just a few of her accomplishments. Her song Fantasy was released in 1995. It was the lead single of her 5th studio album entitled Daydream, and it became the 2nd song in Billboard history and the first by a female to debut at the top of the Billboard Hot 100 chart. And if that wasn't enough, it actually stayed there for 8 consecutive weeks. Yes, she was BTS before BTS was BTS. The song was recently brought back into the spotlight thanks to it being heavily featured on this newly released Ryan Reynolds movie entitled Free Guy. So if you're curious about how the song works in that movie, you can check that out. And here's a bit of the lyrics to this really cool old school throwback song. I'm in heaven with my boyfriend, my laughing boyfriend. There's no beginning and there is no end. Feels like I'm dreaming, but I'm not sleeping. But it's such a sweet, sweet fantasy. Get ready to sing along. Let's listen to these two songs back to back right now. Fantasy by Maktub featuring Lee Raon, and then Fantasy by Mariah Carey. Fantasy by Mariah Carey, and before that, Fantasy by Maktub featuring Lee Raon. Those were the Parallel Universe songs of the day. All right, in part 2, our expert with impeccable taste, Professor Cynthia Yu, will join me in the studio for OFD and Chill, so don't change the channel. But for now, let me wrap up part 1 of the show with one more song break. Here's SG Wannabe with their song 넌 좋은 사람, You're the Best of Me. Welcome to part 2 of One Fine Day with Lena Park. OFD and Chill is coming right up. Professor Cynthia will be joining me in the studio in just a bit. So if you can't decide which Korean movie to watch, which is your next binge on a K-drama, or which K-stars to check out, you'll definitely have to hear out what she recommends. So let's listen to some songs while Cynthia gets settled in. First up, here's Ihai with Only, followed by Kim Yerim and her song Rain.
Be my only one. 이렇게
At any given moment, countless titles are showing at the movie theaters, and even more dramas are there for you to binge. When every one of them is as inviting as the next, how do you decide just where to start? You should first OFD and chill. K-dramas have been huge for several decades, but the real secret's out. Korean films are just as awesome. So whether it be film or TV, you've already overcome that 1-inch tall barrier of subtitles, and you just don't know where to start. Well, OFD and Chill will be your guide. As usual, our guide, an expert with learned taste. It is Professor Cynthia Yu. Welcome, Cynthia. I'm trying to match to the themes now. I'm on a new thing.
I've noticed. It's good.
Okay. So far, so good. Knock on wood. How are you doing?
Good, good. So I braved the storm.
Gosh, thank you so much. It must
Cats
have been
and dogs out
cats
there.
and dogs. Seriously.
Yeah.
I could not think of any
Howling.
other adjective as myself. Cats and dogs. I could see rippling on the streets of water.
I know.
Like there
were
was
puddles.
waves. Yes.
Yeah, there were puddles.
Pretty
Big
crazy
puddles,
out there.
You know?
So thank you so much for braving such inclement weather to be with us today.
Wow. The way you thanked me there, I was like, yeah, I did something.
You
Like, I
did.
took the bus. No,
You
sorry, I
did.
took the subway.
It's tough moving around in this kind of weather.
But it was kind of refreshing.
Oh, good.
I have to admit, you
Yeah.
know, this past summer, I actually haven't loved the commute because by the time I'd arrive at the subway,
Yeah.
and
Just
it would feel
drenched.
like a sauna in my mask.
You can't breathe. You're just suffocating. It's
It is
true.
wet in there.
Yeah.
It is disgusting.
Gross. It's been tough, and but lo and behold, we were grudging through the summer, and lo and behold, just like
know.
that, it's
Right?
gone. There was something about this rain where like, oh, this is not a summery monsoony. No, this is autumn rain.
It is.
And with the autumn comes, of course, your inspiration for today's sort of overreaching theme.
That's right. Because the new semester begins tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
For us
yes.
at college. And I decided to maybe talk about and introduce some dramas or movies about Korean schools. or 학교. Right?
Yeah, 학교. And what do you call it? I think high schoolers have already started their semester as well.
That's
so
true.
it is back to school.
It is back to school. And we have actually discussed and talked about a lot of movies and dramas that deals with schools, 학교, and the Korean education system. It's a whole genre unto itself.
It
right?
really is.
You know, we've talked about dramas that deal with the very, very competitive nature of the Korean education
Yes.
system in dramas like Sky Castle.
That's right. That was actually one of the first
It's true.
dramas we discussed when
It's
we
true.
launched this new segment.
It's true.
Sky Castle.
Yeah. I mean, that was a very successful, very polarizing in some ways, and
Yeah.
it was a hot issue.
It was a hot button issue.
We, you know, talked about similar movies and dramas about the 학원 or the cramming school system
Right.
culture here
The
in
academy
Korea.
system.
Even last week, you know, when we talked a little bit about 노량진,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
You know, 노량진 is this huge 학원 culture.
That's
the
right.
mecca of students cramming for their way into a governmental job.
Right. So it's academies or learning institutes called 학원. We have one for just anything you can possibly imagine to
It's
study.
true.
We have one for that.
And of course, we've talked about movies that deal with school violence, bullying, or 학폭.
Yes.
Recently, in movies like 4등 or 4th place,
That's
right? It was about
right.
the child swimmer.
Yeah, yeah. And I think there was the indie movie
Yes.
that we talked
Hummingbird.
about. Hummingbird, that's right.
Of course, there are immensely popular teen romance movies or dramas,
yes.
right? Like the very famous 학교 or drama series. It's a drama series
right.
called
학교. That's right.
For every generation, probably.
Yes,
Right?
it's true.
Or the much more Generation X-oriented movie, 건축학개론.
That's right. Yes.
Architecture 101. Mm-hmm. And of course, our favorite comedies like the Reply series or 응답하라.
Who is it? Who is it? I'm waiting till the very end. Yeah, those were really popular. There was I think one of the Reply series was, college students, right?
Yes, college as well.
Teen romance.
Now, we had a blast describing these sorts of subgenres. Things like the high school, remember the high school ghost or the horror movie series?
Oh my
like
gosh.
the 여고괴담?
여고괴담.
Last summer, we
Yes.
went on a huge sort of series about
Yes,
them, right?
right.
Whispering corridors.
Oh, so scary.
They are. And, more recently, we even described an Agatha Christie-esque
That's right.
mystery
Mystery
drama
yeah.
called White Christmas.
That was unusual, right?
Misleading name, but
yeah,
it's really
some
about...
sort of in this murder mystery at a prep school.
It is. And around Christmas time.
Around
it was
Christmas time.
really more like 10 Little Indians.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
And then there were none.
Right,
feel
right.
to it.
Absolutely. So cool.
So today,
Yeah.
I thought we might explore another subgenre
Okay.
in the 학교 drama series
Okay.
that has been described as, in Korean, 명랑 fantasy. Or
Myeongnam
fantasy.
That's a really good name
Right?
for it. Yeah.
I kind of call it a kind of a Harry Potter-esque
Okay.
type of genre. It's kind of related to the older horror genre in that the characters often are able to see supernatural beings or
Right.
ghosts or demons, right?
There's some sort of supernatural phenomena or element going
Right.
on.
But the general atmosphere
Yeah.
or tone of the movie or series is very light, very bright, cheery, and optimistic.
It's like the opposite of 여고괴담 or
Yes.
whispering corridors, where it's like, I see a ghost, and
Yes.
then screaming. But here it's like, oh, I see ghosts, and then sometimes it's scary, sometimes it's not. But yeah, taking this very light-hearted tone.
Exactly.
So those are called 명량, 명랑, fantasy.
Fantasy.
I didn't even know this was a whole subgenre.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
It's, they use elements of traditional Korean mysticism and folklore,
Yeah.
folk magic, and religion.
Oh, I see.
Last year we also talked about the very immensely popular 신과 함께, along with the God series,
right.
Which uses elements of Korean, religion and folklore.
I really liked your point about how it's bringing something distinctly Korean,
Exactly.
even though it's sort of a Hollywood blockbuster formula. So here as you were discussing, we actually have a great overreaching drama genre of 학교, school-based series, and then all these little subgenres. So today is 명랑 fantasy.
명랑 fantasy.
Okay.
And the first drama I'd like to introduce, we've seen, both of us have enjoyed this
I'm so
series.
excited because I actually saw something that Cynthia's going to talk about. It's not usually the case.
This series is called 보건교사 안은영,
Yes.
or the School Nurse Files.
School Nurse Files.
And this was a series that came out last year, and it was released on the
Yep.
Netflix.
Yes. Yeah, on the Netflix.
And this was actually developed based on an award-winning novel called School Nurse 안은영 by the hugely popular and successful millennial, I think, writer called Jung Se-rang.
Oh, a young writer.
She's young. She actually debuted in 2010 at the age of 26 with her fictional short story Dream, Dream, Dream.
Yeah.
And she even won the Changbi Prize in 2014. 3 years later, another big award. But the thing is, she's also a very popular writer in
I
that,
see.
her novels do
Hot
very
off
well.
the shelves, right?
Exactly.
Sold out here, best-selling author as well.
And she loves to work in different genres, you know, sci-fi, horror, romance.
Oh, wow. That's very broad and diverse.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of the titles that of her novels, you can kind of see her point of view there. 덧니가 보고 싶어. I want to see your snaggletooth.
Okay.
Jane, 재욱, 재훈. 50 People is maybe one of her latest works.
50 people, a more recent work.
And I kind of would recommend for our listeners to maybe take a look at her novel if they're really interested in watching this drama as well, because it's wonderful. And I think you'll see the sort of pacing, the 명당,
Yes.
you know, the wonderful kind of effusive, positive energy that you can see in the series, also reflected in the novel series. You know, critics have said it's such a fun read.
Yeah.
Like you just
It's a page turner.
it's a page turner.
I'm so curious now as well. Wow, interesting stuff. All right, we'll be back discussing the school nurse files or 보건교사 아는 영 after our first song break. Here is FX featuring Dio with Goodbye Summer. That was FX featuring Dio on Goodbye Summer. We have our regular Kong listeners joining us. DLTNFN WKD Kim Ji-soo Lahab 82, Alicia Update 2000 Sweet 0303323, as well as JS Lee, who says, "Hey, was today's parallel universe a spoiler for the theme?" It probably, because you know that our PD is on top of those really witty playlists as always. Alicia wanted to let us know. 마라탕 plus 막걸리 준비 완료. Hello. Looking forward to hearing about next Tuesday's dinner menu. Unfortunately, today we don't have a lot of appetizing things to talk about. If anything, I feel like today's topic is very unappetizing.
Except for jellies. I actually did consume a fair bit of jellies while watching this drama. You know, I had these, I always have jellies. Like it's one of my sort of favorite snacks.
Yeah,
right?
It's very popular jellies.
And
yes.
honestly, like that first episode, I'm like,
So many
I have
jellies.
to get my
Oh,
jellies.
you need jellies. I just don't understand how those jellies inspired you to eat jellies, because those jellies were like gross.
Some.
Okay.
But, some, you're right. In the basement,
Yes.
kind of disgusting. But the nice little, like,
The cute little
the
ones.
octopus ones,
Okay.
you know, the ones sort of popping around in the school corridors. Cute.
So what are we talking about? One thing I thought that we should definitely mention that you were talking about off mic was Jung Se-rang actually adapted her own novel
Yes,
into the teleplay
that's
of
right.
this drama. That's very, very important part. She had full creative control.
She wrote it along with the director Lee Kyung-mi, right? And I think they did a great job. Although there's been a little bit, you know, there has been some criticisms
Little
as well.
criticisms as to how well that was done. You know, either you do it yourself or you have someone else do it for you. And there's pros and cons for each strategy.
I think writers always, you know, they fear anyone who takes their original material and then they sort of might take it into a different direction.
Or they'll cut too much out and streamline it too much. But then how good can you edit yourself if it's your stuff? You know, it's the same for music as well, right?
That's right.
Sometimes you need to produce yourself and sometimes you need to be produced.
Yeah. So I like the way she worked with the director,
Nice.
who also, you know, who can visualize what she wrote on paper, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think actually this drama did a great job of doing that, even with jellies.
Yeah, it really kind of draws you in. And just quickly, the synopsis is it revolves around An Eun-young, and she is a school nurse, that's where the normalcy ends.
Yes, very soon, very quickly into the episode, because she has a supernatural power to see what she describes as jellies
Jellies.
or ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm.
Right? These are these are things that are not quite explained very much in detail in the drama.
Right.
But they are things that express human desires, feelings, and even those of spirits, so people who've gone.
Right.
Right?
That's right. They could be sort of a something akin to a ghost, but also these jellies are born in this dimension that only An In-young can see out of people. So there's like a greedy jelly. Someone feels too much greed, and a jelly pops out of into existence.
There's even a jelly called Ero jelly. You can kind of guess what that is.
Arrow.
So when you have a high school full of teenagers,
yes, with hormones like going crazy.
You'll find some interesting, rated R kind of jellies on the scene as well. Just a little bit of an Easter egg for you to enjoy while you watch this series.
Rated R jellies. Okay.
Now, Jung Yumi also needs a partner in her adventure, right? And that is Hong In-pyo, a Hanja teacher at the high school, played by the really, as you said, very charmingly played by Nam Ju-hyuk.
So taken with him.
Too.
He was so charming.
I actually think he's a little underrated.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he did a fabulous job.
I thought he was great.
He plays obviously very handsome, young Hanja, teacher. But he also has a physical
just
kind
like
of...
He
has a limp, right? Because he was in an accident. And he does that so naturally.
He does it well.
Right. Even like in the first episode, he has a scene where he has to climb all of the, how many floors to get to the rooftop. And you see him almost like...
just hyperventilating.
Hyperventilating.
Just extra hard for him.
Right?
It's double work for him.
So apparently a lot of, that was not under the direction of Lee Kyung-mi.
Oh,
and,
really?
that was on his initiative. And he apparently also did a fair bit of ad-lib.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, he's a pretty talented young
he was
actor.
Great. And Jung Yumi's character, An In-young,
yes.
because she's been plagued all her life with this supernatural power.
Yes.
She's not a very calm person.
No.
She's just very, very strange.
She really loves to swear.
Yes.
That's one of her
very
distinct
irreverent.
attributes.
Yes.
Right? So if you want to study a little bit of Korean swear words, this is also a good drama for you to watch. I thought they did great casting. Some of the supporting actors and actresses, you may not know their names off by heart.
No.
But I think you've seen them in various dramas.
Here and there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Folks like Lee Ju-young, who plays Hanarim, the life sciences teacher. I might have mentioned that she had a really fun little role in the series 식사를 합시다. I remember her as playing this really quirky, hilarious lawyer in that drama. Of course, Yoo Tae-oh. I'm sure our listeners are more aware of this young actor. He plays an English teacher called Mackenzie, and he has some scenes that we can relate as Kyo-po, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He was kind of funny as the English teacher. Who I thought was really amazing was actually the young teenage actors.
Yes.
They they were so good.
Their acting it matched the quirkiness of the drama very well.
They had to do some extreme things.
Right.
So these jellies, another little synopsis spoiler, as they grow, their effects on the mood that they were born out of affects people too.
Yes.
And that's why this Hong In-pyo high school teacher character, he's strangely immune.
That's right. He has this sort of force field around him that protects him from the effects of the jelly. Now, the jellies are created by this kind of mysterious basement underground hole.
Okay.
Right? The story behind the hole is that apparently, decades earlier, it was a little pond where people would go and commit suicide.
So
because
a lot of bad energy there already.
Kind of bad and good. It just emits so much ki or energy
so much energy.
people who have very weak ki are kind of attracted to it, and then they sort of give themselves to
I
it.
see.
So, the grandfather to Hong In-pyo, who founded this school, wanted to use this school to kind of build the country. At least that was his motto.
Right.
To sort of create this new generation of graduates who would
Right.
use the key from the school to
Right.
become great nation builders.
Yeah.
But they would need a sacrifice, a weaker students with weaker key who would sacrifice themselves.
So they kind of wanted to cull,
Yes.
right? Cull the weakest and only keep the strongest. And by sacrifice, we're talking about like some dastardly stuff, right?
Sacrifice, like committing suicide,
Yeah, these
jumping
kids
off
would
the
be
roof.
affected. Yes, exactly. And we see that happening here. So An Eun-young becomes sort of a lone crusader.
With the help of
later
Hong
with the
In-pyo.
help of Hong In-pyo. We'll be back with more about An Eun-young, 보건교사 An Eun-young, or School Nurse Files. But here is Jung Yumi herself actually performing with Song Shi-kyung on our next song break. It's Andromeda. We just listened to Song Shi-kyung and Jung Yumi performing Andromeda. Speaking of music, we were talking about the fantastic music. The first thing that I did when PD Name told me we were talking about this drama today was I started singing the theme song because it's so catchy and it's
Doo-dum.
and I couldn't stop hearing that song in my head for weeks after I had finished the show.
Yeah, and the lyrics go something like 복권교사다.
보건교사다. 나는 영. And that's like it. But it's so addictive and catchy. And apparently, and all of the music actually, not just the theme song, was so witty. All really taking an active part in the storytelling. And apparently the very, very accomplished music director,
Chang Young-kyu.
Chang Young-kyu, the bass player of Inarchi Band.
Yes.
So
right?
he also had a Korean traditional music background as well. So
That's right. There are some elements where, some scenes where you'll see the pansori sugunga.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And they use, in that first episode where that giant toad starts attacking the students, they use a folk song called 두꺼봐, 두꺼봐.
Oh,
right?
interesting.
Hey, toad.
Yeah. So you see these elements that he brings in, and this just kind of contributes to this overall bizarreness.
Bizarre, but so wonderfully made.
Yes, a fun, bizarre. Quirky is a really
Yes.
good word for it. It kind of reminded me of a very happier, but it's dark too, right? It's very dark, but sort of a weird fantasy supernatural Ally McBeal.
I see that in the
Right?
character
A little
played by
bit.
Chung Yumi.
Yeah, who
right?
just sees things.
I forgot about that.
It
You're
kind
right.
of reminded me a lot of Ally McBeal in terms of not breaking the fourth wall, but breaking dimensional walls of reality.
Yeah, it's
within
like a
the
meta,
show. Yeah, absolutely.
dramatization.
And
You're
of
right.
course, there's a mystery at the heart of it all as well, and that kind of keeps you drawn in.
But the mystery is not explained in a very friendly way. In Korea, we call it 친절하지 않다. This is not a very friendly drama in that we mentioned before. There's not a lot of exposition.
There's things remain
suddenly
obscure.
appear. You're not sure where they come from.
That's right.
There's a really interesting character called, played by one of the students called Baek Haemin. She starts consuming all the kind of
There's these
ectoplasmic
little-
mites.
Yes, mites. That's right. That's right. She was so good too.
Oh, she was very good.
She's so good.
But she just sort of appeared. You don't know where she came from.
And she just keeps picking up mites, these really gross bug jellies on the ground, and she can't get enough of them. She's stuffing her face, and apparently she needs them to. That's her
That's her role in life. She actually can't live beyond 20 years.
Right.
There's a physical sort of radius. She has to be within 5 kilometers
Right.
of that school.
Yeah.
Because her only sort of raison d'etre is to eat those mites
They're
to
just
prevent.
created to be
Right.
pest control.
Pest control. That's right. 옴잡이.
Yes.
And, so that's her fate. And that's, I think, what really gets to An Eun-young because she realizes she has this sort of fate of, trying to protect people around her from the harmful effects of these jellies or the
Right.
bad key.
And she does the whole, I never asked for this, I didn't train for this. And one very small example of the quirkiness is her weapons against fighting the forces of another dimension, super dimension.
That's right.
Is a plastic lightsaber.
Yes.
Toy lightsaber.
That's right.
And like a water gun.
It's, I think, like a BB gun,
BB
but
gun.
a toy gun.
Yes.
You're right. And they are her tools for exorcism, right?
Oh.
But apparently there's like a limit to how long she could use them. So you see in her cabinet and in her office,
Yeah.
it's filled with all these religious artifacts and
Like
totems.
every religion.
Every religion
Like she was
possible.
she wanted to cover all bases just in case.
That's her, recharger. Those are her batteries.
Oh, so her recharger for her tools is faith.
Yes, in these different religions.
poignant.
But she discovers another battery in the form of Hong In-pyo.
That's right. He's a battery himself. So interesting.
He has this amazing key that protects
So she
him.
keeps touching him, and
She
he's
keeps
like,
touching
"What
him."
are you doing?" Yeah, it's okay. All right, really, really cool show to check out. We'll be back with one more kind of a show to pique your interest after this. This is Kwon Ji-na here for our next song break. Run to You. That was Kwon Ji-na with Run to You, a beautiful song, putting us in the mood because it is from the OST of the second show we'll talk about today.
Yeah. 우수무당 가두심.
Oh, what
Fun
does that
little
mean?
title, right? It means like
우수무당 가두심?
우수 means great or
Okay.
the best.
우수한. Mhm.
So
무당.
무당 is shaman, right?
Right, shaman.
So it's the great shaman 가두심.
Oh.
And this drama, it's an ongoing one. It's a streaming TV series.
And apparently from one of the newer Korean streaming content platforms
Yeah.
that have just launched.
It's created by, this K-Talk Entertainment. It's written by the Ju brothers, directed by Park Hyo-jin, and this company was behind popular dramas such as Renan. We talked about that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
The Divine Move, 신의 한수, Missing, or the
Wow.
other side, right? And this is apparently this channel, first original fantasy mystery series.
Wow, okay.
So each episode is quite short at 20 minutes long.
Oh, wow.
Honestly.
That's like a sitcom length.
Right?
Uh-huh.
They're planning 12 episodes
Okay.
for the first season. The response has been very good.
Oh, has it?
It premiered on the streaming site in July 30th, and the fantasy series surpassed over 1 million views within 5 hours. And then it later hit 3 million views. And when I checked earlier today, by the time of the 6th episode, 10 million views.
What?
1000만 view series.
What? Oh, wait. And this is a paid subscription streaming service?
Yes, I believe after a week, you have to pay to see the episodes, and it's about 500won or 50 cents per episode.
Oh, okay. So it's like pay. It's like pay per TV.
Yes. So it seems likely that they will shoot, that they will do second season, and apparently shooting will begin in November.
Wow.
But I believe they're still shooting and working on production
That's great.
of this
So-
drama.
What is this about? And who is 가두심?
In some ways, it's very similar to An Eun-young.
Oh, okay.
Except the main characters are teenagers,
Oh, okay.
played by the lovely Kim Se-rom,
Oh,
who
wow.
plays Kadushim. She's this 18-year-old teenage shaman.
Seriously?
She wants to be a normal high school teenager,
Right.
but she has this amazing gift to see ghosts
I see.
and be able to exorcise
I see.
bad spirits,
Okay.
evil spirits.
So she was born with the gift. I see.
She's born with a gift. She transfers to a new school, a very elite, high sort of performance private school.
Hogwarts.
Yes.
And then this is where the drama always starts when someone transfers to new high school.
It's true.
Right?
It's true.
Uh-huh.
And there she meets the sort of Prince Charming character played by the young actor Nam Tarum. His character of, get this, Na Usu. I'm the best.
I'm the best.
I'm the best, right? He is just, perfect in every way. Perfect 엄친아.
Yeah.
His parents and family are well-to-do and he gets the top marks in school. He's cute and he's even a nice guy who, after meeting Kadusim,
Yeah.
starts to also see ghosts
What?
and spirits.
Some of the gifts rub off on her? Or
Some of her gifts rubbed off on him.
or maybe she just awoke something that was innate in
Perhaps.
him? Okay, but we don't know. Okay.
So as you know, every kind of 안윤영 or Kadushim
Yeah,
needs
yeah.
a partner in crime.
That's true.
And so Naozu, fits the bill for that.
So 2 teenagers. All right.
And then what they discover is something evil is lurking in their school.
Oh.
An evil spirit that takes the life of the lowest performing student.
Oh, no.
So
Talk about high school pressure.
pressure, right? If
To
you
do well.
꼴찌하면 죽는다.
죽는다. Like literally,
Literally.
if you fail your test, you might actually lose your life. Wow, it's very sinister.
So these 2 partners in crime were able to see ghosts and fight evil spirits, band together, and perhaps with the help of other students, their ultimate goal is to fight this evil spirit and save their classmates from the pressures of high school. I don't know, academic pressures. I mean, you see the metaphor, the analogy there, right?
Absolutely, not lost on us. And I think not trying to be too subtle about it. But yeah, there must be something very dynamic about this show that's getting all the viewers. Perhaps it's production value or...
Yeah, I mean, I think I actually think this format fits their target audience very well.
Yes, I agree. Very short and sweet and to the point.
Totally. I mean, An Young is about 50 minutes, I think. Some of the dramas that we've been watching are
Why are they so long? I can't watch hospital playlists because I don't have time.
Me too.
It's like an hour and a half long.
I know. If you do 본방사수, like watching it when it's actually broadcast with all the commercials, it's like, you're right, an hour and a half. It drives me crazy.
Your whole evening is just gone. So this 20-minute is actually, it's also kind of devious because you're just not, how can you possibly be satisfied after 20 minutes? So maybe it really kind of sucks your audience in too. Although
there's been, sort of negative feedback too, because they are sucked in and they can't wait for the next episode.
It's too torturous.
Yes. And, I saw a lot of foreign viewers, writing, why can't they just release the whole season at once?
Oh, sort of like other streaming platforms will do, release the entire season.
I think they can't because I don't think they're
all not
made
done.
yet.
They're airing as it's being made.
Yes.
Sort of like, traditionally how TV was done, right? When you're in production season, you do that. And then when you're done, you take a break.
But once, the first season is done, you'll be able to see all of the 12 episodes in probably one evening.
Now, is this actually even available to be viewed by overseas audiences?
Yes. They are available on internationally. It's distributed by iQIYI. One Eye in Southeast Asia
I
and Taiwan,
see.
and by
Okay.
Vicky in U.S.,
Oh, okay.
Europe, the Middle East,
Interesting.
and other parts of the
All
world.
right, so this streaming platform, the KTV, is trying to really cover all their bases. And not only do they start off with a very fantastically creative genre choice to go with, it makes me feel like, oh, we can really expect some out-of-the-box content from them in the future,
Definitely,
too.
right?
All right.
Also, a little bit different from An Young. There's a lot of sort of teen romance
Oh, okay.
built in.
Teen drama. Thank you so much getting us into a back-to-school mood. Just think, it's got to be better going to your school than this haunted school. And good luck on your first day of school tomorrow as well, Cynthia.
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
And we'll see you back here next week.
See you later.
All right, taking us out, another from the Gadushim OST. Here is Seungri of Oh My Girl singing Dear My Nights. That was Dear My Nights by Seunghee of Oh My Girl, taking us to the end of today's show. Hope you guys enjoyed. And for our goodbye song of the day, here's 빛 속에서 in the Rain by Lee Seung-yoon. Thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow.